What's up, everybody? Welcome to this episode. We are the CarGurus editorial team. Happy to be here. Happy to have you here watching us. To my left, I have Natalie Harrington, lead staff writer.
Hi.
To her left, I have Dave Undercoffler, head of consumer insights, editor-in-chief at AutoList. Am I missing a title?
All of
Is
the
there
things.
something
I do
else?
some EV stuff for CarGurus,
Well, your
videos.
Stay tuned. We're going to talk
Renaissance
EVs.
man. Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. And last but certainly not least, the baby of the group, Matthew Smith, deputy editor.
Thank you for having me.
How is everybody feeling today?
For the record, this is the coldest podcast studio on earth. So,
Well, for the record,
Let's
I
just
run
start that.
hotter than any person you've ever met.
right.
I feel like we should note this is a good time for the record. The person saying this is the one from Southern
From
California.
Southern California. Yeah, but it's April in Boston as we're recording this.
Not
right now. It
originally,
shouldn't be.
though.
I think it's colder here than outside right now.
Oh, yeah, it's 50. I think it's
Definitely.
58 degrees.
How long did it take after moving to Southern California for you
20
to
minutes.
just completely wimp out?
20 minutes.
20
I come back. I come home for Christmas and it's you're frozen when it's. And my parents are out in like short sleeves. Like, come on, man.
That's
Yeah.
the thing I fear about Southern California is I run so hot. I'm uncomfortable over 60 degrees.
You'd adjust.
Maybe.
You think so?
Most I've ever
It's-
spent was 2 weeks in
The
California.
problem is it
I don't
gets so
think I
warm
adjusted.
there that people don't drive. We'll talk about convertibles. People don't drive convertibles in California because it's too hot.
Sure.
Oof.
Sure.
Little,
Do
little
people
fun
dress up?
factoid.
Like, do people wear suits in California?
No, what's this? Why would you do that?
I guess
There's no reason.
Nobody's wearing suits anymore.
You're like,
anyway.
hey, tourist or nerd.
Do you think 30 years ago they wore suits?
No,
Mm.
California. No, it's California. That's why everyone's there is to not wear suits.
I think what California does really well, though, is sports cars.
And here
Don't
we
you
go.
think?
Look at that. It's a perfect climate. Let me tell you. Yeah, the stuff you see on the road is in incredible shape and pretty rare.
The
It's fun.
roads are also in incredible shape. I feel
does
like
Well,
make
one
a
compared to
difference.
Boston, everything's in incredible shape. But
it's why none of
freeways
us
are
on this
bad.
side own sports cars. Well, except for one of us.
Yeah, although I do have a philosophical question about what qualifies as a sports car, but I would
we'll
say
get
that
into
my
that 'cause some of
Mercedes
these,
does.
yeah, some of these people
Ooh.
might think are not technically
There is some
sports
dissension.
cars.
So we have a list on CarGurus.com. We're going to talk through that list today. It's called the best sports cars under $30,000 in 2025. So it's of the moment, it's hip, it's right now, and it's budget minded. Which for me, I'm a budget minded shopper. I think everything is too expensive. So that I love the idea of a parameter of under 30K. But Natalie came to me and she said, "Some of these aren't sports cars." And I
Yeah,
said,
we'll talk
"Well,
about
hey."
that.
I'm going to go to you for that question. Natalie, what makes a sports car a sports car?
Well, I guess I wanted to know from everybody else there are things on here that I don't think would come to mind for me first. And I'm curious how everyone feels about, like, does it have to be two-door? Does it have to have a dedicated platform or else it's a GT car? Like, for me, I think,
Or do consumers
do consumers
care
care?
as much as we do?
For
Yeah.
me, I care a lot, and I also have certain cars that I just think of as sports cars, and I will make any exception for them, like the M3, although that does come as a coupe. So
Can you
It
get an
qualifies.
M3 for
Yeah.
under $30,000?
you can get an E90 M3 for
Can you
under
get a
30.
2025 M3?
No.
Yeah, no, I guess not.
Would you want
Although
an
that's
M3
not what
for
this
under-
means.
That's where it gets. It's like some cars make me nervous when they're under $30,000 because you're looking at a bill of like another 10 grand.
It's the
very
ultimate
soon.
driving machine.
Oh, they're lovely, but yeah, I'm always like maintenance minded. Yeah,
Think
I
about
guess
it as
like,
it's
scares
under
me.
$30,000 the year you buy it.
Yeah,
And
right.
then it's under $30,000 the first year you repair it. And then it's under $30,000 the second year
Every
you repair
repair
it.
is under
Yes,
30 grand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't
That's
know.
what makes me nervous. No, but I'm with you, Natalie. Some of these, well, first of all, there are fewer and fewer sports cars, like true sports cars being made.
Mm-hmm.
So then to have a list of 10 or 15, you then sort of need to widen the parameters. So someone here, we're going to get into it, but like the Golf, okay, not a tried and true
Yeah.
sports car.
Yeah.
Sporty. And anyone
Sporty.
who is driving it probably considered, getting something that is a true sports car. You're sort of measuring them against each other.
True.
But to me, yeah, it's like I generally 2 doors, probably rear wheel drive,
Yep.
manual transmission. Convertible
Yep.
makes it
So
all
is the
better.
manual,
It's
that's
also
a metric.
It's a process of elimination because it's something that's not a muscle car,
Sure.
but there are some muscle cars on here.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
so
so
maybe we're splitting
rally
hairs.
cars, I mean, not on this list, but like WRX is faster than BRZ, but I would call the BRZ a sports
Oh,
car,
yeah.
not
So how
the
about this?
WRX.
I will read through what's on the list so that our listeners, our viewers,
Yeah, let's do that.
our fans know what we're actually talking about. So let me just run through. I'm just going to simply run through the
Yeah.
list. These are the best sports cars under 30,000 to buy in 2025. We have an 05 to 13 Chevy Corvette. So I assume that's a generation, right? We have the 2020 Fiat 124 Spider. We have a 2012 to 2013, so only 2 years, Ford Mustang Boss 302. a 17 Honda Civic Type R, a 2020 Hyundai Veloster N, a 23 Mazda MX-5 Miata. I love me a Miata.
Owned one.
You owned one?
Used to, yeah.
Oh, we're going to talk about that.
We'll talk about that. An MC, the third generation.
A 24 Mini Cooper S. I know Natalie has owned a Mini. I know she loves it.
It was an S.
Well, we're going to talk about that too. An 05 to 12 Porsche Cayman S, a 23 Subaru BRZ or Toyota GR86, a 22 Subaru WRX, and a 22 Volkswagen Golf GTI. So that is the list that Matt, who wrote this? Craig Fitzgerald, our friend, our colleague, wrote this list for us. So yeah, that is what we're talking about. Those are the cars. So Natalie, which cars on that list really stick out as that's not a sports car?
Mm-hmm. Well, having owned a Mini Cooper S, I would say sporty. I don't think I would have called it a sports car. I loved it. Mine was an 09, so earlier generation, and smaller, which also helped a lot with that. I mean, like I said, WRX, if it's BRZ versus WRX, clearly it's not in this case, then BRZ all the way. But
is it the four-doorness of the WRX, or is it the all-wheel driveness?
And like the rally bred
yeah, the BRZ is two-wheel drive. It's like one of the only Subarus that is not all-wheel drive, correct?
Yeah.
So,
maybe the only right now.
So the BRZ definitely feels more sports car-y than the WRX.
Agreed.
Okay.
Agreed. Yeah, and Veloster, like I would put the Elantra N on here before the Veloster.
I don't know if
Interesting.
Interesting. I don't think I would.
I think if
I love the
there's,
distinction. Let's
put
talk
either
about
on
it.
them.
if there's a common theme that goes through all these, it feels like very enthusiast minded.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You know, and I look at these and I like there's not a single car on here that I don't want to drive.
Sure.
So I think when we're thinking about sports cars in this lens, to Dave's point, they don't make as many sports cars as they used to. So it's almost more of a, if you are a sports car enthusiast, what are the best options out there? Sports car or not blurring the lines a little bit.
Right. You want to have fun driving.
Exactly.
You want it to be engaging,
But
and you also
also-
have a budget.
The fact that this is including used means it doesn't matter what they make now because we can go all the way back. We're trying to stay under $30,000.
I think that staying under $30,000 and getting something that is going to be fun and enjoyable and affordable today, like you can only go back so far before you start running into some pretty finicky machines.
So let's pretend 30 grand is our metric. These are all listed as available for under 30. If you get a 2023 WRX, or I guess on the list it's a 22 WRX or an 05 Corvette, they're the same money. Which one are you going for? One is clearly a sports car. One is maybe not so much a sports car.
Is this a primary car or is this a
That's up to you.
secondary?
I think when you're a Southern California boy, maybe it's the same. For us, no.
I mean, by that, look, I've got two kids. If I pulled up in a C6 Corvette, my wife would probably be the last time I saw her. 'Cause she'd be like, "Are you kidding me?" However, if this were like a third car, I mean,
a third car, not even a second.
Or second car.
Let's get right to the third car.
My wife's car.
We're on the sports
my
car topic.
If this is an additional car, not a daily driver, I mean, dude, a Corvette, C6 Corvette. Have you guys ever driven a C6?
I have never driven
it's
a Corvette.
Throwback. It's a lot of car for the money. I know there's sort of issues around the image of a Corvette. If you have to be 65 years old and silver. I've got the silver hair. I'm not that old yet, but man, it's a lot of machine. They're a riot.
It's arguably
dollar
the
for
least
dollar
amount of money you can spend to go faster than everyone else on the road.
And then like the aftermarket, you can tune it to within an inch of its life. The C6 is a cool car. A lot of performance for dollar. And I think they'll age well. If you get a coupe, the roof comes off. If you get a convertible, that's all hunky dory.
I feel like they have
Meaty
aged well.
manual transmission on that
They,
thing.
they look
Yeah.
terrific
Yeah,
today.
right.
There was like an understatedness to their styling. Today everything is. There's so many character lines and creases.
Well,
and
the current
whatnot.
Corvette, I know it's a performance bargain, but this one is such that's such a clean. We've got a silver one pulled up on the page here. Such a clean looking car. It's aging gracefully. Yeah.
It's got a lot of what I like about like the NSX, for example, but you cannot get those. In that price
that
range.
ship sailed.
sure.
I remember. This
At
makes me
all.
sound old. I remember when you could get the first gen NSX for 30 grand.
I wish.
Yeah, right. We'd be selling them on Bring a Trailer right now.
For 10x that. Yeah.
So
I
sorry, go ahead, Matt.
I might dare to say the Corvette has aged better than most of the people who own the Corvette.
Oh,
That's
yes.
not of course they. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I would totally agree. Yeah. So that's my choice.
The Corvette that we have here, it's the 05 to 13 generation. Is this when it stopped looking like this? Because like Corvettes today look crazy. They look like razor blades
They look like
as
Ferraris.
a car. Like this is rounded and kind of classy and kind of smooth. Is this when it stopped?
So the C7 was like an evolution of this. It got like a little more creased up.
A little more transformer-y.
They're trying to go
The
for a
C8 is
younger
what we're on
buyer.
now.
And then the
It's-
C8 went nuts.
It's like the Ferrari Corvette, Kmart Ferrari.
Yeah, I mean the C8's phenomenal to
That's-
drive. I don't love the way it looks. I'm sure people will disagree, but it's just there's too much. I don't know. They didn't resolve kind of the rear 3/4 component on a mid-engine car is kind of hard to do, and they didn't quite get there. Dollar for dollar, nothing beats it. It's a phenomenal machine. The C7 right in between. I don't know if it's aging quite as gracefully. It may take a little longer. That's one with more angles. But like the C6 had still has those, the classic Corvette taillights, right? That's distinguishable since, the C2. So anyway, we're spending a lot of time on the Corvette. There are other good cars on this list.
I think the Corvette is like the most sports car-y. Like in my mind, it's the one that says sports car the most.
I think you're right in terms of like looking at the pinnacle of what a sports car can be at that price range. But I look down this list, the one that jumps out to me, that like if you're in the market for a $30,000 or less sports car and you just want a pure sports car driving experience, it's got to be the BRZ or the GR86. Like that's their entire
Both excellent.
It's their entire value prop.
It's it's underpowered. Sorry,
The
I know like
current
people are like,
generation?
yeah, sorry. It's just like it and it's
Interesting.
like I know that
granted,
the old
we
adage.
just talked about a
it's-
Corvette. So yeah, I agree.
But that's the thing is like I've owned a Miata. I'm not one of these like no replacement for displacement guys. But and there's the old adage of what it's more fun to drive a slow car fast than a fast car slow. It's fun to drive, but like I just in the back of your head in most situations. I mean, Angeles Crest, right? A famed. It's not even a highway. Famed road up the mountains north of Los Angeles.
Is that where you film your reviews?
That's
or one of the roads you film?
Yeah.
Nice.
I
So
mean,
I've seen it a bunch. I've
5
never-
minute,
I've
10
never
minute
been on
drive
the
from
road.
my house. It's
Cool.
a phenomenal road.
Awesome.
That's where a car like that would thrive. Lots of curves, no real straightaway. You're having fun, and it's a really engaging car. But then you get on like I don't know the freeway. It's just like come on. They could have added more power and still maintained the character and the pricing of that car. I think that's what makes me the most frustrated.
What is the power level right here?
I think it's 228.
230?
Oh, not
28,
even. I thought it was like 200. Is it?
So the current generation has a different engine than the previous one, which I think was around 200. I hear you.
Oh yeah, 228. Yeah, you're right.
100% agree with everything you said. My counterpoint, my only real criticism of the BRZ, there are some things that are pretty subjective. I think the interior is like comically antiquated with its dash. It like literally looks like an aftermarket stereo they pulled out of a 2005 Civic Si. My only real criticism though is when you get it on the highway and you have that like relatively like high-ish strung boxer engine that's just like thrumming along constantly. 15 minutes on the highway, you want to just pull your hair out. But
you're not.
That's not what it's meant for,
22, right?
And that's not.
You care
That's
about
not
those
what
things.
a sports car is supposed to be good for. Like you're not supposed. It's if we were looking for what's the best car on the highway,
Right.
I would look at Natalie and be like, "Tell me more about your SL."
That is
Oh
great.
gosh, yeah, right.
But
No, fair.
yeah,
Totally
sports
fair.
car,
I just-
Angeles, like you
I
kind of
think it's
made
what
the
could
argument
have
for
been.
it.
I know. I mean, that's the thing is I respect it as a car. It is a lot of fun to drive. I feel like they could have done more and still kept the price and the character. And so that's where it's like, oh, come on, guys.
Have you driven this generation, the
I have
24?
on the Angeles Crest.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But then it gets back to like, all right, by like old school metrics, that is very much what sports cars were. Is they were not, if we're talking about like post-war cars coming in from Europe, there were these small, lightweight, not
Roadster.
Yeah, they were roadsters or they were two-seaters. They weren't these huge displacement, Corvette killers, or maybe they're killers, but not competitors. And so this maintains that sort of, lightweight, simple, fun, honest sports. So it's like, it's very true to the sports car recipe.
Yes, it falls in the like the Miata
Yeah.
landscape. Miata, the 124 Spider, other cars on here that it's the same thing. It's like, do you want to drive these on the highway for 2 hours? God, no.
But but they're not made for
2 hours in the mountains.
Oh yeah, you're going to be
Can't think of
grinning
anything
from
better.
ear to ear. Yeah, no, I totally, for
So
sure.
you mentioned the Miata. Let's move to the Miata. I've been driving cars professionally fewer years than all of you. But one of my favorite cars I've had on loan was the Mazda Miata. What was it? A 24? I think it was a 24. 23 maybe?
Yeah, that we filmed.
It was recent. I think it was a 24. It was a convertible, 6-speed. It just felt, like you said, it's more fun to drive a slow car fast.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think on the road, I don't have Angel's Crest near me.
No, we
in
have
Malden,
North
Massachusetts.
Road in Carlisle.
Yeah, we have pothole-ridden winter roads, but driving that car on a slightly windy road was just like that. Felt like driving to me. So Natalie, you did the review of the Miata. What's your take? I know you and Alex, your husband, disagreed on convertible versus hardtop.
Yes.
What are your kind of overall thoughts on the
liked
Miata?
what? Yeah.
He liked the hardtop partly because he's taller and the
He's like
convertible.
6'9", right? 7'2". What is he? He's a tall guy.
I say he's 6'3". He says he's 6'2".
Wow, he's
very
he goes
interesting.
lower. See,
Yeah,
I'm 5'10" and a half, and I say I'm 6.
Under promise, over deliver.
I tell everyone he's 6'3", so
Yeah,
telling everybody here.
6'3" is a cool height.
Put
I always
him
wanted
at
to be 6'2".
That put him at an even foot above you, right?
Yes.
You're 5'3".
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm 5'2". So,
5'2". Oh,
yeah.
so there you go. 13 inches.
A baker's dozen of inches.
A baker's foot. Yeah.
Oh, nice. A baker's foot.
But you get your
Ew.
sound.
I'm going to use a sound effect. Are you ready?
Dad
Sorry,
joke.
we're not
Dad
going to
joke.
use too many sound effects, but sometimes they're there.
They're right there.
We're just
Sorry.
getting started.
The Miata. Talk to me.
So I think the mechanism for the convertible took up a little height, and
Okay, for the hardtop?
yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it was the hardtop convertible. So he wanted the extra headroom, and also I know, like in theory, if you're actually driving this thing to its limits, you don't want a convertible, right? Like you want the rigidity and the structure of the hardtop.
Oh, the hardtop. Huh.
But I liked the convertible and liked the convertible experience, and I'm not going to get out there and like carve corners every day in this thing. Unfortunately, that's just not what my life looks like.
Would you daily drive?
Yeah.
the
Oh yeah.
Miata? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, until
Until you can't.
next month
Until
when
next month when you're a family of 3.
yes. Yeah. But I would weekend drive it then.
Okay.
There's a whole other topic coming
Yeah.
on that
Yeah.
one. What is the right second car for
Yeah.
a family
Yeah.
of 3?
Or it'll be mom's
Stay
car,
tuned.
Like,
Well, it could be Dave's 4th car.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm just going to start adding them because cars are free.
Yeah. We're not getting rid of the things we have, like my SL, which
Yeah. I think you guys you have the biggest garage of anyone at this
that's
table.
possible. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see if
Which
that
is
survives
ironic
the baby.
because it's also a non-existent garage.
Accurate. I don't actually
Natalie
have
has cars
a garage.
littered all across New England. Various states.
That's true. Various
So wait,
family members are
various states of
hosting
repair.
different
That's
cars.
right. Because you have what, like a 2nd-gen 4Runner. You've
Yeah.
got a Mercedes SL,
Yeah.
129.
These are your bona fides here.
Yeah, our 129 SL 500. We have the Peugeot 505 wagon,
Wow.
and then the MG, but it's really a Beetle with
So let me ask you this: what are you taking the baby home in? Have you had that conversation?
probably the Accord.
Okay,
Sensible.
sensible, safe, yep.
Lovely car.
Madeline's an
Accord hybrid,
Okay, so all right, so it's an efficient baby.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Very green.
and it has a back seat, and
Yes.
it's not a 93 4Runner, so you
Okay.
know, yeah, modern
Airbags.
safety
It's got airbags in that back
Yeah.
seat. Yeah.
Hopefully on your first drive home,
and a latch
you won't
system.
need it. I'll tell you what though, this is totally off topic, but we've all done it. That first drive home where you first have the new baby in a car, it's the most stressful drive I've ever done.
Yeah,
I've been told.
It was like
So
5
stressful.
minutes of a drive, and I think I went 20 miles. You could have walked home faster with the baby. And I was like, nope, don't care.
Did your wife sit in the back seat with the baby?
Ooh, that's a good question. She may have.
I did
I
not
don't
have
know.
this experience.
Well, that's because you're Superman, aren't you?
My child, it was
Your kid
it was
drove
just
home.
trial by fire. I was like, we're going right into it. We've got multiple roundabouts to rip through.
Were you in the
We
Forester?
specifically, we were in the
Yeah.
Forester. I specifically picked the hospital we went to was outside the city instead of in Cambridge because I didn't want to deal with traffic, but also it was right on my typical test drive route. And I was like, I know these roads. Let's go, Maisie.
Well,
Love
my
it.
hospital was right in the middle of Boston. Ton of traffic, ton of questionable people on the road. Not questionable people, questionable driving decisions
Drivers
on the
this
road,
is
I should
Boston.
say.
No, everyone driving is questionable.
Yeah.
So Miata, Dave, you owned a Miata.
I owned a Miata. I had an
Which
NC, so it's third generation. It was sort of the biggest that the Miata ever got, because for the current generation, which is called the ND, they sort of shrunk it back. So what was mine? I don't remember mine. It was like they do like a mid-cycle refresh. So it was before that. It was like, one of the first years it was out. It had the GT package, so it had a limited slip diff. It had a 6-speed manual. It was black with the dark tan roof and leather. It was great. It was a moment in life where, I wasn't married, wasn't dating my now wife. It was sort of my like fun toy car. Yeah. And that generation wasn't getting a ton of respect on the road. It is now. But like
You're
at the
pioneering.
time, $1 for smile. Oh man, that car was, and
I like that $1 for smile.
You knew
it was a fun
something
car.
that the others did.
And it had for anyone who hasn't been in it, it's a manually folding roof, and you just sort of release it and throw it back, and it sort of automatically latches behind you. And you can just do it one-handed and just, that was a fun car.
So you're bucking the trends here because you're maybe driving the Corvette without being 60 and you got this Miata before everyone else.
It was cool. Yeah.
So
that's what
are there any predictions you want to make for the rest of us about what's
Well,
not
now I got
respected
into, like,
right now?
80s.
what's the next great
the wrong person to
used
ask.
sports car under $30,000? And
On this
why
list?
is it a Honda Accord hybrid?
I don't think it has to be on
So
the
I want to
list.
get to the Golf GTI.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Should it
22.
even be on this list? I don't think anyone would argue that it's fun to drive.
Yeah.
Should it be on this list? And also, so this was the first iteration of this current generation Golf. When they updated it, they got rid of the manual.
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
So this is, if you are an enthusiast and you've got under 30 grand, this is sort of a narrow window of time to get that generation of car with that transmission, because it goes away.
I'm wondering if the manual is how it made it on that list.
Well, so the
22.
blurb for this, it even says the Volkswagen Golf GTI is a bit of a stretch as a, quote, sports car. It's not a coupe or a roadster with 245 horsepower. It's not exactly a performance car, but it is the car that invented an entire segment.
245 horsepower at that weight.
Yeah, it's 3,100
BRZ
pounds. I don't think I
has
realized
less
it was that heavy.
later.
The Chris Wardlaw, one of our test drive reviewers, I think it was the 2016, so previous generation GTI, in my opinion, kind of the pinnacle of the modern GTI.
Okay.
Get on board
And
with
in
that.
his review, which I edited this years ago, like literally 9 years ago, and I remember the line, University of Torque.
Oh, interesting.
What a
And I think-
poetic.
I think that's
Like in a bad way? Is he saying there's torque steer? Like in a bad way?
no, a good
Okay,
way.
good. Okay. All right.
It is. The horsepower figure doesn't do the car justice. 245 is actually up from where it was in previous years.
Yeah.
But it's like 270 pound-feet of torque. The thing just rockets.
Well,
from
once
low
you get it,
speeds.
I remember turbo lag. Am I remembering that properly? Once you get it, you're like, oh, here it is.
Yeah, I mean,
But it takes a minute to show up.
like 0 to
Unless you just
1,000
downshift
RPM,
the
there's
snot
not
out
much.
of it.
But as soon as like you get into the 1,800 to
Yeah.
22, probably that range,
It's also
it pulls
and it's a very smooth motor.
very smooth.
Like it, in contrast, you're talking about the BRZ, which it feels like you could thrash the snot out of a GTI, and
Yes.
it's like, yeah, cool.
It kinda
What
wants
else you
you
got?
to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's got that European refinement.
And of any modern car that I can think of, enthusiast car that I can think of without a manual transmission, I feel like the good VWs are the ones making the strongest case for the dual clutch automatics. And
Sure.
they're so fast. They've been doing them for years. They're really well sorted out.
There's also like, look, I know this is like, we're talking about true sports cars, but everyone eventually is going to hit that point in life where or not everyone, many people, where they were adding a child and they still wanted to have something fun. So like, that's where it's like this, you can have your cake and eat it too, right? You can show up and your partner or spouse is not like, oh, you idiot. Like, that's not a family car. You can put car seats in the backseat of this thing and still thrash
Beauty
it.
of a
And it's like a
hatchback.
daily driver. And as somebody who's now in my 40s, I don't feel like a boy racer driving a GTI.
Yes.
Whereas like the Civic Type R, phenomenal to drive. Every generation of that car is like chef's kiss. But I feel like a bit of a goober driving
100%.
a Type R with the wing in the back, and I'm just like, look, it just doesn't
The wings are
line
crazy.
up.
It's-
They're
Again,
crazy
like that
looking.
car is. Don't get me wrong.
It's funny how
Lovely to
that,
drive, but-
that feeling evolves with you too. Because
Yeah.
like 5-10 years ago, I'd look at the GTI and I felt the same. I was, it's the adults enthusiast
And you're like,
car.
boring.
But I still wanted the
Yeah.
plaid seats and the
Yeah,
golf
plaid
ball
seats are
knobs.
so cool. Yeah.
Well, now I'm like, I don't know, leather's kind of nice. Maybe
Right.
maybe get one of the more
Taste
change.
expensive
That sunroof.
trims.
There's a car for every buyer.
all
Also
Right.
worth noting that the current GTI, no more manual transmission, 22 and 23, I think 23, still had the manual.
That's what I'm
When
saying.
we tested it in North Carolina, that was a manual transmission car, and Elliot did not throw up, but he was close.
Okay. Is that
close.
sorry?
You're looking at
for
the camera
uninformed,
while
is that
Matt's
a
driving?
common occurrence?
Let me explain. So in the passenger seat where I'm the videographer for these videos. I'm recording Matt in the passenger seat, looking at a tiny 2-inch screen.
Yeah.
Going through windy.
I'm getting
Blue Mountain
carsick just
Highway?
hearing that.
Blue Ridge.
I can't
Highway?
believe you.
We
do
weren't
that.
on the Blue Ridge, but we were.
It was windy.
Yeah, it was
beautiful
Western
roads.
North Carolina.
So I'm staring at this. I don't get car sick ever.
Well,
it's just not a thing that happens. But
I
that
can see
drive,
why.
when we got to the midway point, I had to sit down. I had to
Stop
take
looking
some
at the
breaths.
screen, man.
Yeah.
That's.
He's doing his job. He's very
I'm doing my
vigilant.
job. I got stuff everywhere. I got screens. I got buttons and knobs. I'm always tinkering.
Wait, can I ask about on the boy racer subject? How do you guys feel about the GR Corolla?
Ugh.
Does that give you that
It gets
feeling, the
close.
Civic Type R kind of
Like
feeling, or no?
The 3-point exhaust in the back. It gets close. I would feel more. I'm conservative in what I like to be seen in these days. So the
He's a
GTI is where it's
respectable
at.
adult man.
I've driven the GR Corolla. I've driven it on track. That thing is awesome too. I love the you can adjust the power output.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can sort of have like a rear bias, and or you can have it because it's
yeah.
all-wheel drive, where you can have like a 50-50.
It's
Fantastic
a total
car to
goober
drive.
car. It's super
Is it?
fun.
You can't. It's leaning more towards Type R than it is GTI. In
Interesting.
Terms
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
yeah.
It's
Funny.
It's insane.
Like looking at it from the outside, though, I don't know. Maybe it's the hatchback shape. I just kind of go like, I mean,
You could
the wide hips, I guess.
Yeah. Maybe
It's
from the rear with the.
yeah, it's cool looking, but it doesn't say like
And that car will probably be
Young
on this
guy
list
to
in
me.
another 2
So I was
years.
going to say, it's
of,
not
like-
under 30K, but in the
It will be.
27 version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a sports car? Do we consider that a modern sports car?
If these cars are on there, that car should be on there.
Well, what'll be interesting is I wouldn't be surprised if we see the manual transmission, particularly the first year with like the Marizo trim and the special editions. Those are going to hold value, I think. They just this year released the automatic transmission. I bet we see a lot of automatic transmissions hitting the used market in a few years and not having that price premium the manual does.
Agreed.
So it's like, is an automatic GR Corolla? I mean, is that
a
does
sports
that
car?
count?
Well, hey, we're
it's
going to
gonna
update
be
this article
less-
in 2027. So
Because with the GTI, when you're going automatic, it's a dual clutch, which
Right.
still has that like performance street cred.
Right.
Whereas if you go to just such traditional automatic, like Miatas too, they offer an automatic.
Yeah.
And is
Yeah,
that I feel like that's more of,
What is the automatic in the GR Corolla?
I don't know, a waste.
yeah. I think that was
Come
why
on,
we
man.
didn't go on that.
Why are
drive
you getting
program.
that car
I'm pretty
and
sure
then
that was
getting an automatic?
Matt's
Like,
take on it.
this is outside the topic, but what can you get into a GR Corolla for? How much is the base
they're
GR
pretty-
Corolla?
I
Like
don't know.
40, 45?
Let's
What are
see
we?
what they're going for on
my
CarGurus.
guess, without looking, is low 40s.
42.8 maybe?
Sure, we're gonna pay prices
42.8,
right.
I like it.
Prices right rules, so you can't go
Matt's
over.
clacking away at his ThinkPad.
We're
so.
talking a brand new one.
Yeah, well, what's like base price for
Base
a brand
price
new
for a brand
GR
new one?
Corolla?
Oh, a brand new one.
39,995.
Hey,
All right,
so I would get
and
the
that's some tax and
buzzer.
yeah, okay.
My favorite anecdote about the GR Corolla, it's not the case anymore because the Marizo trim was first year only, but that
Is
one.
it the one with no rear seats?
Yeah,
It's like a
so
dumb.
it had-
well, that's like
it
such
had
like
a-
all right. Why
it
would you
had-
buy a
Sports car.
hatchback and then take out the rear seats?
Sports
Just
car.
buy a
weight
suit-
reduction.
As
Man.
far as I know,
That's
it's
such
the
like a-
only
come on, man.
it's the only 4-door, 2-seat
Yeah.
car on the market.
Yeah, cool.
But like you could say, does the Miata actually have 4 seats? Like
No,
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 that's like
there's
I don't
no
think
seat
it's
back
even
there.
pretend.
No, there's not even a
Do you
pretend
mean
one.
the BRZ?
the BRZ, yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
the
so it
BRZ
has
actually doesn't have 4
space.
seats. Yes.
Yeah, and you can. And their argument
Parcel
was on the
shelf.
BRZ, you could fold down the rear seats and you could put in 4 sets of tires, so you could drive the track on your street tires, swap the tires, have your lovely
So it's a
track
very
day,
specific
drive it home.
person.
Yeah,
very
but that's
niche.
right, and that's
All
that's
right.
why
Or
sales are
golf
so low.
clubs.
So,
So-
what have we not talked about on here?
We have not talked about the Fiat Spider. We haven't really talked about.
Well, it's kind of the Miata.
Sure.
It's the Miata for people with like a little more intestinal fortitude. You know?
Intestinal
I don't know who
fortitude.
buys that.
with,
Like,
with a bit
why?
more like, appetite for risk.
I think
I
it's
think
like
it's the Miata for older dudes who remember older Fiats and are like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
okay, and like
I think it's
they want
better
a cost
looking.
effective.
I think it's people who don't want to be basic and are like everyone has a Miata.
Could be.
This is different.
I also feel like, and granted,
I don't know.
they haven't made it in quite a few years, but I seem to recall it cornering quite a bit flatter than the Miata. Miata had a little roll to it.
Whoa.
Well, the NC had a lot of roll. I remember actually. I think I put in a stiffer sway bar, and they were known for that. But it's like if you build it into your driving style, it wasn't a deal breaker. So like maybe this has, I mean, the ND, the latest generation Miata, it's a small car.
Yeah.
So maybe this Spider, I don't know. To me, the current Miata has more street cred than the CL 124.
Yeah. And some of that's
100%.
just due to like the community around it.
I think to wrap up this episode, I'm going to ask everybody to pick the one car on this list they are taking home. They're putting down their cold hard cash or financing.
It has to be on
if
this
you're
list.
most of us. Yeah, so I'm going to have everybody pick their the one that they're taking home. I'm going to go first.
Yeah, please.
So you guys have time to think about what you're going to say.
Yeah, go ahead. So you can take the Miata.
No,
By the way, we didn't even. No one even said the words Mustang Boss 302.
well, that can be your
It's
choice.
not going to be.
Then it doesn't get spoken.
Okay.
I was going to say, like, what would we remove and put back on? And for me, Mustang Boss would go it's more muscle car.
So my answer is pretty basic. It's not the Miata, although because I'm a little bit too practical for the Miata. My choice, Matt probably knows, it's the Subaru WRX. I don't know if it counts as a sports car, but for me, I have 2 kids. So that 4th door, the all-wheel drive is incredible in where we live, which is not Southern California. In high school, I had a friend who had a brand new WRX STI. So this would have been like 02, 03.
Yeah, those were the business.
His family had some money.
Yeah, those are cool.
And it had the gold wheels.
Yeah.
And from when I was like
was
16,
it blue? Like
it
that
was blue.
awesome blue. Yeah,
it was blue. It had the wing. It had the gold wheels.
Yep.
And I was just like, that's the car. That's it. And I
At
like
that age. Yeah.
It's a very different WRX today, but I still have this like nostalgia for the WRX. And I did drive a stick shifts. I forget where it was, California. We were in like windy roads.
Subaru manuals are not the slickest manual transmission.
I
I'm
enjoyed.
not taking away from your, but like compared to a Honda, they're not the slickest.
I had a lot of fun driving it, and if I needed a car today in my life scenario situation, WRX is it for me. So that is my choice.
Let me put it this way though: is a sports car? Are we trying to live with this car every day as your daily driver, or is a sports car just inherently?
It's your life.
Okay.
Yeah. So I
like it.
I don't have 3-car money. Dave,
Well,
I'm joking.
Neither do I.
I'm joking, but so for me it would be a daily. So that's also a
All
huge
right.
consideration. A WRX is a daily, probably a bad daily in Boston traffic, stick shift
Boston
with
roads,
poor
yeah.
gas mileage, but
Better now than it was 5 years ago.
okay.
The old ones, you don't
Worse.
need to go to a chiropractor if you own one. It does the work. Does work
You mean
for you.
in terms of ride quality?
Yeah,
Okay.
Well, that's what I'm taking. Who's ready to go next?
I got you.
I'll call on you
Matt.
if not. Matt, take it away.
So looking at my life,
As you do.
thank you. I bought a Subaru Forester because I'm a very practical family man.
I mean, you got the beard and the LL Bean shirt.
Thank you.
Yep.
They actually gave me the Subaru Forester
about to
for
say,
free.
yeah, right.
They were like,
There's
"Yo,
Black
this guy,
Lab already
he's
in
got
the back."
so much LL Bean in the closet. He
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
just
please.
needs a Subaru. We'll upgrade you to a Volvo in a few years.
Yep.
So I also have a Honda Accord because I'm risk averse. But for the 3rd car,
Yep. I like
my
it. Yeah,
enthusiast
I like
car,
it.
I want to buck that trend a
Yes,
little bit.
sure.
And I look on here,
Live, baby.
and we haven't talked about it, but the 05 to 2012 Porsche Cayman
I can't believe
S.
it didn't come up because that is such a
Like
I thought maybe it would come up in this section, so I'm glad it did.
looking
Yeah.
at the
great
list
choice.
here, it's just the best.
Yeah.
Right?
It's such a
I mean,
great
it's a
3rd car or
terrific
second. Yeah.
driver.
Yeah.
We're not going to like assume perfect reliability because it's a 15-year-old.
I mean, Porsches are.
But yeah,
I think what people
Better than a
conflate
Fiat.
is they are more expensive to work on, but they are inherently quite reliable vehicles.
very well
Like,
engineered.
yeah. So
and honestly, nothing drives like a Porsche.
no, or sounds like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
they sound great. That's a great
it, you know?
choice. Yeah.
For my 3rd car, let's get rid of the,
So,
the
even if
practical
you-
thinking. Let's buy the Porsche.
Even if and you can probably save some money and get the PDK, and that goes back to it's not a slush box, so it still has sort of some street cred in terms of performance, but it's also if one wanted to go non-manual, that's a good option, like it is in the GTI where you still have you have the dual clutch.
I mean, I say I buy the manual. It's fake money. Why
So
not?
question on the Porsche, and I got to ask a question. I say Porsche. Matt says Porsche.
Oh,
Which one are we using?
no. So I asked. I've actually asked somebody I used to be an automotive reporter. This comes up. So there's no wrong way.
Okay.
The American translation, you can say Porsche.
Okay.
The family says Porsche.
Okay.
In German.
For you get these knuckleheads who are like, it's Porsche. You can't say Porsche. No,
Yeah.
Porsche is a perfectly a high-ranking executive. I don't remember who it was.
Mr. Porsche.
A German was like, you can say Porsche, like just chill out. So all these like nerds who are like, no, it's Porsche. You're wrong.
I have a very
Cool.
nuanced and completely fabricated mentality.
That's Matt's
around this.
title.
Yeah, very
Very
nuanced and
nuanced.
Very
completely fabricated. Porsche, no. Porsche, no. It's Porsche, but you kind of like lift off the final, so it's Porsche.
So you make it a little bit
It's
more
like
pretentious.
It's
Yeah.
It's like if you look at
Harder
a
to nail.
Heineken bottle,
No,
you know,
you're
you've got
finishing
the
it
E
wrong.
there. It's tilted. They call that a smiling E.
So it's like a push.
Ooh.
yeah.
A smiling E.
Yeah, it's Heineken's is just branding, marketing.
Oh, I didn't know
You guys
about
know anything
this.
about marketing?
A little bit.
A little.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel
Can't
like
you tell?
I've picked some up through
Porsche with a
osmosis.
smiling E,
Okay, you've managed to overthink all the other people overthinking it.
nuanced and completely
Oh, boy.
fabricated.
Okay. Well, you can decide, or you can call it whatever you want because that's the vehicle you're choosing.
Because I bought it.
You're going to be a Porsche
my
guy. It's
fake
like that
money.
episode in Friends where Joey pretends he has a Porsche.
Yeah.
Anyone?
Yeah, the
You
boxes.
said it
The
perfectly.
boxes, yeah, and then he's got like it's
You
And
said it
hey, it's
perfectly right
Porsche.
there.
right. He gets into that, yeah. And it's like, come on, man.
Final question on the Porsche. This list, we conveniently have listings along with each thing. And there's one for $28,000, an 06 with 60,000 miles, and
Dibs.
there's an 08 for 24K with 87,000 miles. How many miles are too many miles? Like, at what point is it like, that's a little bit too much?
87 is about as high as I want to go.
Yeah, because
But
then
you would go
getting
87.
into big. I don't know if
Yeah.
87.
Like
I think I would
this one with
choose
91. I'm not buying that one. What I really like is I'm looking at these listings. The first three, all red. I feel like the more cars I drive, the
Oh,
more
not
I
mine.
like red cars.
I would go. So I'm looking at a 2008 Cayman S with 87,000 miles for $28,000.
Mhm.
You can spend $800 more and lose 25,000 miles. Lose 22,000 miles. It's a 65,000 mile car,
Mhm.
Porsche Cayman S. I'm going to spend the extra $800 for the fewer miles
Sure.
all day, every day.
Okay.
Because I think the maintenance you are then avoiding for those next 20,000 miles is well worth the $800 difference. So, because I don't know the maintenance cycle of Cayman. I just was always sort of beaten in my head of like, you get into like timing chain, timing belt, whatever type of stuff when you're closing in on 100,000 miles. So it's like the further I can get away from that when I'm buying the vehicle,
Valid.
the more comfortable I feel.
Okay, so that was our 10 minutes on Porsche.
All right.
There
you go.
What are you taking home?
Well, I mean, Matt's got a great point. I think for like,
You can also say the Porsche, but you have to say Porsche.
Long-term ownership, like that car is going to age well. It's going to have an enthusiast community behind it. It's going to hold its value, right? Like, I don't know if everything on this list may hold its value. So for some people, that's a consideration of like, I'm willing to spend the money now if I know at a certain point I can get similar money back if I need to sell
Sure.
it, right? I don't know. It'd be either the Cayman S or the Corvette. Two vastly different beasts. But I'm looking at, this is not my daily driver. So I'm like hardcore 2-seat rear wheel drive, manual transmission. The kids are not going to be in it. It's like, when I get the rare date night with my wife, this is the car we're taking out. So it's like, well, which type of beast do I want? Do I want like big American, like, this is pretty cool, or the more like tasteful Porsche? Do I have to choose?
How much time are you spending on the highway?
Very little.
Yeah.
Because I've got the roads. I've got like, Angeles Crest. I've got, some, and I don't think that's a deal breaker for this car, for anything I'm choosing here, because this is my third car in this scenario.
Yeah.
Driving up to Ojai, if anyone ever comes up to, maybe I shouldn't spoil it. There's a delightful road in Ojai. It's the best driving road in Southern California.
You heard it here first.
Well, no, there's another media outlet that blew up, and I was like, would you guys stop talking about it?
It's the first time I heard it, so
Okay.
I'm going
to stop. I should stop talking about it because I want to keep it for myself, like a greedy little driver. I think I'd go, I don't know.
Join me.
Yeah, I'd probably do Porsche.
Okay, we got
But
two Porsches
such
and a
a close
Subaru.
second to the Corvette. Man, that Corvette is cool.
All flat engines.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
All right, Natalie, last but certainly not least, what are you taking home? Or is it something not on this list?
Well, let's limit it to the list.
Yeah. Okay, forget
Then
me.
it just opens up.
What on
It's
this
like-
list you taking home?
There are other things I wanted to
Yeah.
add to the list, but fine.
They're all in her barn.
I don't have an M3, but I will someday. I also thought Jaguar F-Type might deserve to be on here, but
Well, can you get one under?
yeah, I checked.
Do you want one? Like that's where it's like, oh boy, like Jaguars are lovely vehicles until you start maintaining them, and my gosh,
I feel
that
like
scare the crap
under
out of me.
30K, you got to be looking at like the V6 automatic too.
Well, the V6, yeah. I mean, you can get the V6 with the manual.
Yeah, but for
With how many
under
miles?
30K?
This one's 60, 75, 25.
Makes me nervous.
Oh, that's over 30K. Anyway, you can get them.
There's one right there.
Yeah, that's 75,000
It
miles.
is a good
75,000
looking
miles
car.
for $23,000. I mean, that's where it's like
a good deal.
a good
Hey, you
deal
use
rated in
CarGurus price
CarGurus.
analysis.
Yeah. Well, that's where it's like, all right, so if your budget is 30, that gives you $7,000 for the absolutely inevitable maintenance you're going to need on that Jaguar.
Yeah,
so
but how much
that's
do
a
we
pretty
think
good,
a year?
pretty good
Like
value.
3,500 a year, or
Right, if this
Yeah.
is your third car.
Yeah.
Or second car, if this is not your primary car, that's
So
actually a pretty
time
good deal.
to save up another 3,500. But that would not be my choice. Out
Okay.
of this list, I think I also have to go Porsche. And
Okay.
Dave,
Wow.
you
Do
mentioned
you own one right now?
Do I own a Porsche?
Yeah.
No.
I feel like I have to ask you. Chances are you own something somewhere on any list.
I
but it'd
have
to be
never
very
owned a
obscure.
Porsche.
It'd
Okay,
be like
right.
a 912 or something.
Yeah, right.
Well, my husband, shortly after we first started dating, bought a 944 Turbo. So he owned a Porsche for a while, but
Cool.
we did not
Was
collectively
it
own
running?
it. Yeah.
I was going to say he owned, but he does currently own.
No. We drove around in it.
Those are
It
cool.
was
No, I
great.
like those. Those are all right.
It was
Talk
awesome.
about aging well. Those have aged
Yeah.
really
Alex
well.
aged very well.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's because he's so tall.
That's
Alex aged well.
Tall people age better. We're farther away from the center of Earth.
one big thing about the
Natalie's
Porsche,
doing
though,
fine.
I want to say, Dave, you mentioned the enthusiast community.
Yes.
I do think of this as like a gateway car, right? Like any Porsche you buy,
Yes.
you're in the Porsche club.
Yes.
You don't need,
And quite
the
literally, if you join the Porsche-
GT3
the
RS or
PCA.
whatever.
Right.
So,
You
don't even have to run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can trailer it to a Porsche club
Yeah, which
Weekend.
people do.
and just drive your M3 there, So, yeah, I think that's
Okay.
part of it for me, too.
Okay. So we've got 3 Porsches, 1 Subaru. Yet again,
But like half a
I
Corvette.
almost
I'm like
went
half a, I'm like,
BRZ.
yeah. Oh, really?
I
That's
mean,
your second
I
choice?
forgot the Porsche was on there until Matt mentioned it because we hadn't talked
So
about it.
BRZ is
So
your second choice?
before that, it would have been, I would have said GR86.
What's your second choice?
Honestly, maybe I would never be caught dead driving one of these.
No, but you are.
I like the Ford Mustang Boss 302 a lot.
It's a pretty cool car
and like,
to drive.
Natalie, you were
It's-
talking about it's more of a muscle car.
Which it is.
Of the muscle cars of that age, the
Boss.
Boss 302 is as close as
It's
you
like
were
if you're
getting
gonna have
to
a
a real
cookie,
track car.
Yeah, if you're gonna have a cookie, have a cookie. It's a
Yeah.
phenomenal car.
I do think that
I wouldn't.
aging well, I don't think it's
No,
aged particularly
no.
well.
Sure.
It's
Not
a
that
very-
generation.
It's like very
Interesting.
bloated looking.
Yeah.
Particularly
come
with
back.
that third quarter
I feel
panel.
like
But
cars, there's always like a valley. As they
Interesting. I
age,
don't
we're like
hate it.
10 or 12 years out, they start, they're not sort of contemporary anymore. And then after 10 more years, they sort of come back
Yeah.
up and then
Yeah.
the
Okay.
values start ticking up. So I think in another 10 years, maybe, but like, you're
There's
right.
nothing delicate
Right now,
about it
No.
still.
Well, that's
but no,
true.
shit,
It's very-
it's a Boss 302.
I remember
but like a
You're
Corvette,
not buying it
there's
to be delicate.
the C6 Corvette. There's a delicateness
Just
to
don't-
its style.
Don't
But they
ever
have
tell
been-
a C6 owner that their car looks delicate.
Oh.
That will set them off. But
they have
you're
been
not
making
wrong.
the Corvette
Yeah.
like that for so long, but this is very much in line with when they redid the Camaro and the Charger too. And they
Yeah.
all looked like muscle cars from behind the Iron
like the
Curtain.
early
but
aughts. Yeah, right. Or early teens.
It's a period piece.
Yeah.
But I
Agreed.
don't think it's bad.
I increasingly like the previous gen look of the Mustang, which
Yeah.
did look delicate. It's like the most 90s looking car of all time. But
You gotta get it in like
I
turquoise.
don't love Mustangs until you go back to the Fox body, and I'm a kid from the 80s.
well, we're
Like,
going to have
that's
to do
where-
a Mustang episode.
Yeah, we will.
Mustang
Yeah.
episodes
We
coming
have
up.
we have hit our limit.
All right.
I think that was a fantastic conversation. I want to thank everybody for watching, for listening, for you guys for conversing. Remember, almost everything we've talked about, everything we've talked about, you can find on CarGurus.com, but a lot of things we talked about, you can watch a review from one of these fine people. All on CarGurus.com, telling you their full thoughts. CarGurus, this is my outro. I wrote this. You ready?
Let's hear it.
CarGurus is the place to be for the largest selection of new and used cars, expert reviews, price trends, and your best chance to find a great deal. Thanks
it.
for watching. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.